What's up, everyone? Welcome to a special episode of Sports Card Madness. I'm Nick. I'm here with a guest, Tony Rubo, and we've got a problem. So, we've got a deal gone wrong in the hobby. This has happened to me before. This has happened to other people, and I'm sick of it. And I'm at the point now where I feel like no one's going to have anybody's back in the hobby if we don't take care of ourselves. And so, I want to bring Tony on to talk about this deal, to talk about who he dealt with, how it was mishandled, and then I'm going to leave it up to the audience a little bit. You guys in the comments, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think should be done. Hopefully, we can air this thing and get the other party to come to his senses. And I'm going to dub this the first hobby hotline. I think that's what we're going to call this. Tony, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks a lot for having me. Obviously, unfortunate circumstances, but raising awareness for the new hobby hotline here, and hopefully, we clear the airwaves of these situations that not just me, but many people in the hobby have dealt with.
Yeah, I mean, stuff gets messed up all the time. People try to play games with PayPal and stuff like that. And on Instagram, I try to keep people accountable and make deals go right. And so let's get into the story here. What happened on this card deal? How much was the card worth? What was the timing? What happened?
Okay, yeah. So it was, I believe, like late August, like August 20 something. I don't have the exact date on me. Obviously, I have the receipts. And it was a guy on Instagram who I've never dealt with before, but have been friendly with, kind of exchange DMs and comments. Someone who we would consider hobby friendly. And he had a 1997 Clear Thrill Seekers Michael Jordan PSA 8, a card that I've always liked, always wanted. I've been working hard lately. This definitely owed myself a little treat.
Uh-huh.
So I messaged him about the card, and we very quickly came to an agreement. The deal was for $1,225.
Okay.
And because we were, friendly, I know he's not a scammer. He's dealt with people. I paid him Venmo, friends and family, which,
Hmm.
obviously, in hindsight, obviously hindsight is 2020, but I was very comfortable with him as,
I'll pause
someone who
there
I'm
for one
friendly.
second, just
Okay.
so the audience knows, because not everybody's doing card deals like this. Most
Okay.
people are just buying off of eBay. What he's referring to, there's a couple different ways to pay people when you're doing a private transaction. Sure, you could pay cash, and that's if you live near them, right?
Hmm.
But if you can't, you got to pay them virtually. And there's a few ways you can do that. PayPal is one way, and you could do friends and family or goods and services. Friends and family, that's really meant to be like a tax-free sort of like, oh, to your mom or your sister or your brother. A lot of us use that for friends in the card hobby, and you're legally, I'm not an accountant, but you're legally to able to give tax-free gifts up to 15 grand a year. Kind of falls under that. If you go over 15 grand, PayPal starts to get pissy. Goods and services is the other way to do it. And the advantage of goods and services is you can do a chargeback and you can get your money back. And if you don't do goods and services, there's always the risk that something can go wrong, and there's really not a lot of recourse there. And you chose Venmo under a friends and family situation, which is very similar to PayPal friends and
Hmm.
family. So go ahead.
Yeah. Had some money in my Venmo, so decided that's the
All right.
best route. And once we completed the deal, things went pretty normal and smooth in the beginning. A day or two later, he sent me, I confirmed the shipping address, name, and all of that. And he sent me a picture of the package, with the, my name, my correct
Yep.
address. I okayed it, and it was on its way. He sent me the tracking information, and it was to arrive. I believe it was like August 23rd. So we're at like the end of August.
Yep.
And I also have, we, as card, collectors, we have multiple things coming in now. We always, are very looking forward to mail days. So the day that this came, it did have signature delivery.
Hmm.
So I didn't ask about insurance or anything like that. I figured he's good. It's, it's going to be here. I'm going to sign for it.
So the
I
package
actually
was not insured.
not,
Okay.
no, and I didn't even know at the time. Like, I didn't even
Okay.
think to ask. I figured
It's another good, just
$1,225 card.
I'm just gonna pause there for another lesson in case there's newbies watching this.
Yes.
If it's over like $300, just insure the thing. It's like $25 or $50, and it's
Hmm.
pennies on the dollar. I've made this error before. Like it's literally rolling the dice. If you don't insure it, the U.S. Postal Service will lose one out of every 100 packages. Like I'm not kidding. That's probably about the percentage. And You got to be careful there. So when you're doing a deal with somebody and you don't want something like this to happen, one other preventative thing you can do. I'm not bashing you, man. I've done this too.
Of
Is
course.
you can say like, "Hey, let's insure this thing. Instead of paying them 1,200, you pay them 1,230, or something like that to
Hmm.
cover the insurance." So go ahead.
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, errors are made and everything, but at this point, we expect the card to arrive. So on mail day, I'm actually, on mail days, we always are very excited. I actually had multiple packages arriving this day, and one happened to be international. And I do have the receipts on this one. It was international. I don't know if you've ever paid on PayPal before international, but they have like the conversions and everything.
Yeah.
So while I'm doing it, and I do have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old at home, it's like a couple extra screens and clicks. And we agreed to goods and services. I accidentally paid it friends and family because it's just a lot going on. There's extra conversions. So
Oh.
on that package, I'm like nervous. I'm like, crap, it's international. And I accidentally paid friends and family and we rolled the dice on it. And this one was about a $500 package.
Uh-huh.
So this was one I was actually worried about. They're both arriving on the same day. So
Okay.
my postal serve, my mailman arrives about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I'm actually stalling. My wife has the kids, and we're like waiting to go to the beach to meet a couple friends. Summer day in Long Island. So I'm like stalling. I'm out on the driveway just waiting for the mailman around that time with my daughter, like teaching her how to ride her bike.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, the mailman comes, which I do have on like my Ring camera, but we're not at the door. We're like down the driveway.
Yep.
And we do the exchange down there. So he hands me all the mail, multiple packages. I sign his little thing like at the
Yep.
mail truck. So at the bottom of my driveway, and I walk up with a whole stack of mail. Don't even think to, inspect or anything like that. So I tell my wife, I'm just bringing this inside, then I'll get you guys in the car, which you could kind of see on the Ring camera. And I walk in, and because of that international package, I say, I'm opening this on video just in case.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Most people would not do that. That's cool. All right.
So
So
I
then
I
you
did this
proceeded.
because there was one time a few years back that I was a victim of kind of like mail fraud or mail theft and everything. So I kind of like know like certain levels, like 500 is the number for me. Like if it's like that point or above, it's coming in, it's international, something like that.
All right.
Definitely always open on video.
Good on you. All
Um,
right.
so I kind of like have like my phone on selfie mode video as I'm walking in the house, like with the packages. Timestamp matches like the Ring camera, the
Yep.
USPS, receipt and everything. I walk into my house and I say, I have multiple packages and I have a international package I'm worried about. So I put the stack of mail down on my counter. I put my phone up and I have the international package. I look, and then I just kind of grab the other one. I say, "Oh, we have another one. This is the video you actually watched."
Yep.
I posted on my story, and as I hold it, I feel like it's very light, like feels like just an empty box, and I
Yeah.
like automatically like my stomach kind of like moves into my mouth, and I go, "Uh oh," and I shake it, and I don't feel anything. So now all of a sudden, this becomes I'm opening like I'm putting this international one to the side and now I need to open this one. So the first thing I do is I kind of look at it, I shake it, I don't feel anything moving inside. I instantly know what happened.
Yep.
And I turn the package around. So the front of the package is the side that has like the mailing address and his name and my name. And I turn it around and right away you can see on the back just a cut slit and and retape. So it was a classic slash and grab
Yeah, it looks so. I
from
mean, just for the those on audio, I'll try to include some on video on the YouTube side of things. But it's just picture a rectangle package. Top top left of it, you've got a slash, going down.
Mhm.
I don't know, 2/3 of the package, and then a retape over it, and you've got a WTF reaction on
Oh
camera.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. So right away, I open it, I rip it open, I see the inside. There's like a little like bubble mailer inside, and it's ripped open, nothing inside. So
You know
instantly
what's
I
crazy
know.
about this is that, and we're going to talk about. So what's next is the conversation between you and the seller. We're going to name the
Hmm.
seller, um, and just describe what happened. But what's interesting here is that this is a weird circumstance where you actually got everything from the mailman to the house to the package opening on camera. Very rare. Most of us would have
Hmm.
just taken it to our office, opened the thing up, and then it's he said, she said. But in this particular case, we know it's not
Hmm.
you, doing that because it's literally end to end, like on camera.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys things got messed up. Um, Package clearly didn't have the card in it, and so you hit up the seller. What's the seller's Instagram handle?
It was Card Quest and a couple numbers. I don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to add it in at the end, but
Okay,
I'll take a look. But
I'll flash.
it's is
I'll flash it on the screen.
yeah. So definitely. So right away, I say, "Oh shit, sorry." I know what happened, and once I, clear my bearings and realize like what happened, the international package happened to be fine. Everything was there and accounted for, so it was just this one package. And I message him, dude, package arrived. It was empty, no card inside. And then I asked for his cell. Can you send me your cell? And I also just send the video. Like I
Yeah.
have the whole video. Um, didn't get a response for a few hours. And then his response, I kind of know like what like the normal response would be in this situation for me, from many people I've dealt with who I'm friendly with. Um, was met with, a response that kind of knew it was going to be an uphill fight from there. I was kind of met with resistance.
Oh, good.
Said,
Awesome. So he wasn't like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry about that." He was
yeah,
just
no,
like,
no, no.
"Oh, let's play games, talk about it for a few days and have a
No,
good
it wasn't
time."
even that. It was something along the lines of I can send you the receipt, but it was something along the lines of, dude, this is sketchy. I'm somewhere and like I'm really pissed. And it was something like there was no like, shit, are you really what happened? Or like, so sorry, let's talk about this. It was like met with like a clear brick wall resistance from the start. But I
All right,
still
so we're at the point here where I
uh,
think, one of two things happen. Number one, either he slashed the package and taped it up and sent you an empty package, which I hope that's not the case because he's done deals
mhm,
before. And that
mhm.
seems unlikely. That seems the less likely scenario.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
we can't say that you slashed the package and retaped it because you literally end to end have a video of the entire possession of the package.
Hmm.
And so that leaves the Postal Service, which, man, it does happen. It does happen not as frequently because they have their federal employees and they're giving up significant pensions if they get fired, but it does happen. So we're down to two possibilities. So he's monkeying around with you. Um, and I know from you telling me he basically opened up an insurance claim because no one paid insurance on this. Um, and then he seemed really ecstatic that he won the $100 insurance claim.
Yeah, this went back and forth for a while. We actually both did. Like I called, I went to the post office, I called, they instructed me to call inspections, USPS inspections. It's like a different division
Yeah.
than the actual post office. I talked to the postmaster. So they instructed me. Now the first person I spoke to seemed pretty concerned and like they kind of want to weed out the bad guys. Then
Sure.
they gave them the information. I said, I have video, I have photos, I have everything you guys need. And as the seller, I mean, as the recipient, there's really only so much you can do. It's mostly has to be on
Yep.
the shipper. But I got a call back, and this lady that called pretty much wanted nothing to do with it. She said, "Listen, we closed your case," and pretty much in so many words said, "It's wasn't insured. Even if you did have a value that you're claiming, it wasn't insured. So the most you can get back is $100." They pretty much said it's not even worth us to look at because like
Yeah. See,
they're
this
gonna
is a
review all
problem
this
for the
photo
hobby.
evidence, like video. Yeah,
This
it's
sucks. So, like, the problem with that is, I mean, the reality here is if you're doing a deal with somebody, the Postal Service isn't going to give a crap unless it's like worth a certain amount or you insured it for a certain
mhm,
amount. Even I've insured cards for 5, 6 grand. 5 grand actually is the max on a regular like Priority Express package. They don't freaking care. I talked to the guy in my town. He's like, sorry, please use this again. So the only way we're going to resolve this is, I mean, yeah, insurance and chargebacks and things like that, but we have to get our own backs. So, all right. So we've done a deal. It's screwed up. The card's gone. Somebody has the card. You don't have the card
mhm.
anymore. He doesn't have the card anymore. He's not communicating well. You did insurance claims, but this isn't going to cover the $1,200. So now what was the next step after you kind of got past all the
S-
insurance shenanigans and all that stuff? Like, where are
Yes.
you at now with him? Like, what's going on? Like, what's
So,
the
s-
latest?
so we left off. There was a point there where he was communicating, and it was all without talking about like any type of resolution outside of USPS. And I kind of like communicating, like, listen, man, like, we'll do this. I'll give you everything you need. You can walk through your investigations because he had one going on his end. But then it finally got to the point where I said, listen, it's time to start talking about like option
Yeah.
A or option B resolutions because even if you do win USPS, like I don't really, unless it's a miracle, like I don't see them refunding $1,225. Like the max you're going to get is $100. So
Yeah.
let's start talking about like how we're going to resolve this where both sides, where we can
Yep.
just both move on from this with, our heads, feeling a little better. And he just kept going like USPS claims that it's proper procedure that they don't tamper with packages and I
Yeah.
have to
All right.
lead
All
them
right.
to believe. So
I've
he
heard
starts
enough of
playing
this
this whole
guy.
by the book.
I've heard enough
Yeah.
of this guy. So, all right.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of like kick the can, kick the can, kick the can. I mean, it's October now. Like, it's been
Hmm.
3 months. This guy ever wants to sell again, in the different forums he's in and on
Hmm.
Instagram. He needs to get past this crap and make it okay. So here's what I think. All right, if I was in this situation, I have been in crappy situations. I know a guy. He's sort of my mentor in this space, Dan. He um he doesn't even get insurance because he says I'm better insurance. So he'll actually send the package, and if it gets lost, he gives you 4 grand. Like, he's the man, okay? And that's how I've lived my deal making life. The customer is always
Hmm.
right. It's if I'm sending you a card, it is on me. Now, I understand this could be the postal service, and you could be getting both screwed by this. That that could happen. And if that's the case, I think the bare minimum here, this dude should be like, all right, package was 12.25. How does 6.10 sound? This sucks. Let's just bury this, man. Like, this sucks. Maybe someday it'll work out, but here's half. Are we good? I mean, how do you feel about that? That's how I would do this if I was him.
Yeah, yeah, any type of resolution. It was really about the communication, because once we hit the point where he said, "Hey, I just got notified I won the $100 USPS case. I'm happy to send that to you." I mean, the dude just went rogue and went dark and ghosted. So it's bad. I gave him it was about 3 or 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, where I didn't hear from him, and that's when I posted the story. And it really was about the communication about
Yeah.
what you just said. Like, hey, listen. It sucks for both sides. I was open to anything, literally anything where it wasn't complete 100% devastation on one end, when
Right.
it was really like
A
he
deal
was
involves two
making.
people. You should help each other out.
But
It's
what it started turning into was it was like I became the bad guy because I received the package, and it was like, like we're at that point now where it's like, yeah, I signed for a pack. I walking up with a whole stack of packages. Like at this point, like probably gonna have to, inspect, but like you don't really think I got kids
yeah, yeah, yeah.
outside. I'm like outside, like I'm just
All right.
grabbing the
So
mail and going.
the other
Yeah.
thing here that's really obnoxious. So if you're doing a deal with somebody and they stop communicating with you, that's messed up. You
Hmm.
have to keep communicating and stop
Worst
like
part.
blaming and blaming and blaming other people. I can understand for a couple weeks, like, all right, whatever, you got vacation and things like that. But if it's like months of this, and I'm gonna flash on the screen, I found this punk Card
Okay.
Quest 23. That's the Instagram handle. I'm gonna do a reel about this on Instagram too. Um, what's not normal behavior is if you do a deal and then you wipe your Instagram account, or if you immediately go private and stop talking to people. This guy is now private. So I find that funny. Most people who want to work well with others within the hobby or want to do the right thing wouldn't go private, ghost everybody, and wipe their Instagram accounts. Like, this guy hasn't responded to me. I connected with him. He hasn't responded. So again, it's Card Quest 23 on Instagram. Be careful doing a deal with him. I don't think there was any fraud on his end, but he deserves the bad press for how he's handled this situation, going forward. So right now it's late October, Tony. Like, you obviously have no more communication with this guy or anything like that. What do you expect to happen? Just nothing.
I kind of just struck it up that expensive lesson learned.
Mm.
And it's not necessarily about the whole goods thing or the package thing. It's more about like, like when you're doing deals on Instagram or Facebook or wherever it may be. Definitely make sure that if you're doing it, with someone friendly, you could be friendly with someone or cool with someone, but do you really know how they would, treat a situation like this? And there's plenty of people in the hobby, you
Yeah.
obviously being one, and so many that I'm happy to call friends just from doing this that I know would handle it similar to me, where you understand that there's two parties and situations happen where it sucks and you just have to communicate.
Yeah.
So just to kind of know that, going in. So that's I kind of just chalk this where,
Sucks,
it's a
man.
big L, and
Maybe maybe this
we move
digs
on.
him out a little bit. I mean, this guy's ability to
Hmm.
do deals is going to be hurt by
Hmm.
this getting downloaded a good 10, 15,000 times on audio, and then it's not a good place for him to be in. So if I was him, I would call you and be like, here's $600. Are we cool? And I will actually extend this invitation if he wants to come on and tell his side of the story. Or if he does make it right with you, we can air a new episode and kind of, revise things and say he made it right. But until then, this guy should be cooked. He shouldn't be able to do deals anymore. He shouldn't ghost. Like, even if you disagree with the half that I'm
Hmm.
stating and say, maybe it's on Tony here, the guy shouldn't ghost him and he shouldn't go private on Instagram. And he shouldn't stop all communication if he wants to remain in the hobby. We have to get each other's backs. And it's messed up. And I don't, like we have to make sure we take care of each other and stuff like this has to get aired, I think. And I think there's a couple other lessons here. Number one, even me who's public in the hobby, if you think you know me or whatever, like our first deal should be goods and services.
Hmm.
Even with friends, I do that. It's again, I'm not knocking you, but you just should, because then that lady at the postal service sings a different tune because it's going to cost her $1,000 out of her insurance budget if she doesn't get it right. So then she'll start caring. And you know, number two, and probably most importantly, insure everything you ship. It's very, very, very cheap. It's like $50 for $5,000 of insurance. So like just everything you ship and goods and services. Those are the two messages. Any other final thoughts, Tony? Where can people find you? What's your Instagram?
Mine is nothing like 90s cards. And like I said, I'm a collector. It's my outlet. Obviously we all live busy lives between work, children, family, and everything. So cards is definitely, once I got back in 2020, has really just been a safe haven for me. It's been my outlet. So, those mail days are anticipated. They're happy days. And this one definitely set me back a little bit, but we'll
It's
bounce
all
back
right,
like we
man.
always
Don't
do.
leave the hobby. We're gonna take care of
No,
you.
no, no. We're good.
Maybe I'll find a cool card to give you to make some of this,
Oh,
take some of this back.
listen.
I got
It's
90s basketball stuff.
the gesture is great, but obviously the lesson is learned, and definitely move on, and hopefully this is the end of the madness. So,
$1,000 plus lessons tend to be the
oh
most
yeah,
impactful lessons, not the
oh
ones
yeah.
that are free in school. Sorry, my man. Hopefully this helps. Anybody in the audience, watch out for this Card Quest 23 guy. And if you have similar stuff that you want to air that just sucks or whatever, let me know, and I'll try to do this every now and then and get some visibility and accountability back in the hobby. Cool.
Thanks so much, man.
All right. Thanks, everyone.